Hey there everybody, welcome to another one of my quick episodes here on Aquaponics. I just thought, there's a lot of really positive information out there about aquaponics because it's really exciting and it's really, it's really interesting, But there's not a lot of people that are really discussing the downside of aquaponics, and I've had a few different people ask me, what is the downside of aquaponics? And there are, when you get right down to it, a few different things that could be seen as a negative aspect, but it's like so many things in life. It's completely situational. It's all on how you look at it. Quick list. So I tried to jot down like everything I could think of that would be a negative. It's more complicated. Setting up an aquaponic garden is not as simple as digging a hole, dropping in a seed, and hoping for the best. That's totally true. Aquaponic gardens take some sort of power or electricity to run them, Most of these pumps in your small-scale aquaponics or your hobby aquaponics, if you will, don't really require a lot of electricity. Mine only takes 25 watts. It's pretty easy to get that out of a solar panel or, a little bicycle power generator. 20 minutes in the morning, you run your greenhouse for the day, whatever, so it's not a huge commitment. But aquaponic gardens, for the most part, require electricity. That could be seen as a downside. Something else, an aquaponic garden is more expensive than a standard garden. Obviously you've got to pay for the fish, you've got to pay for the fish tank, you've got to pay for your media, you've got to pay for your grow beds. It's not cheap to have an aquaponic garden. But if you look at it compared to, say, other hobbies, it's actually, not terribly expensive. But again, it is more expensive than just digging a hole and putting a few seeds in the ground and walking away. But in all fairness, if that's how you're doing your soil-based gardening, you're probably not going to have tremendous results anyway, because that is just not how it's done if you want really good quality produce. There are a lot of channels on YouTube about how to amend your soil and how to grow incredible organic produce at home in the soil, and not one of them is as simple as just dig a hole and walk away. Anyway, one thing that I found is a bit of a drawback with aquaponics is people start looking at you really funny, So, you're into aquaponics, does that mean you're growing pot? No, it doesn't. I'm growing vegetables. But they look at you funny because they see a greenhouse and maybe, an urban neighborhood, and the people are just, they're sheep. They instantly jump to the massive conclusion that something must be wrong. Hydroponics in British Columbia has become almost synonymous with growing pot, so, they hear aquaponics, they go, oh, ponics must be pot. Pretty stupid, but that is one thing that could be considered a downfall to aquaponics. People look at you really funny. It sounds really silly to say that this is a downfall to aquaponics, but it's highly addictive. Every day I'm in my greenhouse, regardless of the temperature. I'm checking and seeing how things are doing, and I want to do it more. I want to build a bigger greenhouse. I want to build a bigger aquaponic system. I want to build a koi pond instead of a fish tank. I want acres of green. It's habit forming. It really, really is, because it feels good to be doing something proactive about your own food. That's ultimately what it takes for us to survive day to day is food, and most of us don't really do anything to contribute to where it comes from. So once you get started with aquaponics, you want to do more and you want to do more, and it's habit forming, which is only bad because, like I said, it's more expensive than traditional soil gardening can be. Let's see. Something else that can be a bit of an issue is aquaponics does take time to learn. There is a definite learning curve that goes along with this. In the beginning, you're really excited, you go out there, you get all your stuff together, and you start experiencing problems because you didn't think about this, you didn't think about that, you didn't think about the other thing. And it's not like any one of these problems are hard to deal with. I've got a few frequently asked questions videos out there that kind of deal with most of everything I've had to deal with. But, it does take time to learn. It takes time to establish that microbacterial colony in there and get everything up and running, and there are challenges and disappointments along the way, but if it's something you want to do, then you're going to make yourself learn how to do it anyway, and the challenges become a positive thing as compared to with something you don't want to do. The challenges become a reason to give up. Really, I'm looking at my list here, and I got a lot of really silly things on here. But I think that covers it for any actual downside. You know, ultimately, the biggest downside is it costs money. It costs money to get the system up and running. It costs money to continue to run the system. But other than that, I don't really see a downside. Everything else on this list is a joke to me, you know, like red tape, and it encourages engineering, and, you know, time warps. You gotta worry about time warps with aquaponics. You walk into the greenhouse for 5 minutes to check something, an hour later your kids are calling you, "Are you coming back inside?" But those aren't real risks, you know. How is it a bad thing to go out and get some fresh air and enjoy the sound of water falling? So, you know, in a nutshell, from a nutcase, those are the risks, dangers, downfalls, whatever you want to call them, of aquaponics. And I've been at it for a couple of years now. Obviously, I don't consider them enough of an issue to stop what I'm doing. But, you know, I do want to be able to help inform everybody as fully as possible, and there's really not a lot out there about the downside, so I figured I would throw this out there. If you have any questions or comments, or you know, you've encountered other things that would definitely be considered a negative about aquaponics, please throw them into the comments so that we can open up the discussion further. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a great day.